So she asked you then what street you lived on?
No.
That's a story about mine.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to, I guess, a special meeting of council, tonight. We don't have an actual formal agenda other than we're going to have a presentation from the Manitoba Municipal and Northern Relations, Brennan Wojcik, who's going to give us a quick summary of the impact of the reassessment for 2027 for the town of The Pas. So just as a note, all councils in attendance, Councillor Forster has sent his regrets. So with that, Brennan, it's over to you. Thanks for coming up and visiting us in this lovely town of The Pas.
No problem. Okay, so I'm going to go through the 2027 reassessment report, just to give you guys an idea of what the tax base you're dealing with for 2027 is going to be. So for 2027, we'll be using our data up till April 1, 2025. We're always historically about 2 years behind. And just like when we had our reassessment for 2025, we use data up until 2023, April 1. And our objectives of reassessing the property is equity, fairness, and helping ratepayers get a better understanding. So every 2 years, we do a province-wide reassessment. And some of the changes to these assessments will be the supply and demand in the real estate market, new construction, and improvement to existing properties. So basically all winter or all summer, our projects will be just doing building permits, maintenance memos from the municipality. And we'll just be inspecting these properties and reviewing them, and that's a change to your assessment. So just on page 2 at the bottom, this is the change in the assessment. So from 2026 to 2027, your tax base will change about 8,200,224,000. So about 4% increase from the previous reassessment, or 3.9%. And I should note that this won't be the final number because like I said, today I was inspecting out in the pond, we did see some development and stuff, and there will be increases to those assessments. And also, I was just talking to my supervisor, and outside of the building permits and those kind of inspections that we do, we will be doing another pictometry project. It's getting flowing right now. So that's a big, it's a big plus for municipalities because then it gets completely flowing. We review every property and we do see if there's changes such as decks or new additions and stuff that got missed through building permits. And then I will just go to page 4, and it just discussed, I won't go into detail about this, but it's just with the impacts to reassessment and the municipality setting the mill rates, this will give you an idea of what tax base you're dealing with. And then basically the only big change, and I don't think there will be a lot, or here, sorry, page 5. It kind of gives you an example of if you guys use the 2025 mill rates. Properties that's seen 3.9% increase in their assessment would see an increase on their taxes. Anything below 3.9% would see a decrease.
So say that again, so just so I'm clear.
So this is just kind of an example on page 5 that the threshold will be 3.9%. So if you used your same 2025 mill rates, properties that increased in their assessment 3.9% would see an increase in their property taxes. Anything below that would see a decrease.
So when a resident receives a reassessment notice in the mail and it shows that it's been reassessed and the value of the assessment is increased by around 4%. You would see an increase in your taxation if we were using the mill rate of today.
Yeah, that is.
It doesn't have anything to do with what maybe the next new mill rate would look like.
No, this is just.
But if you've seen a 10% increase in your assessment, then applying today's mill rate, you would actually see your taxation changing because your assessed value has changed.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, no, that's good.
And then as we looked at the increases, nothing really jumped out. So tax shifts won't be an issue in this case. Like I mentioned, in some municipalities, we're seeing increases in farmland and it's starting to get shifted onto the farmland. But this isn't the case in the municipality of The Pas.
So a tax shift is that if you've seen a huge increase in assessed value, like a commercial district or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the values have changed so much that the assessment would change so much that that burden would move.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just kind of goes over on page 7. It briefly talks about the homeowner affordability tax credit, the A or HATC. And I don't know off the top of my head if it will affect any properties in the law, but any property over $1 million will feel the impacts of the new tax credit system. And it just kind of explains anything over $1 million, it will take every $1,000 of the additional assessed value, times that by 3.40, $3.40. And you get that difference and that will get taken off of your tax credit.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think we have to worry about.
No,
that.
and I should have checked on that. Same with municipality of Swan River. No properties are over $1 million, so we don't really feel that impact, but it is for for other ratepayers, it will be increased from $1,600 to $1,700. Those are the big ones, and then just informing the public of the reassessment. I believe next week these notices will get sent out, so you may get some calls. I know our phone lines do increase a little bit during that time. And I believe we have an open house here in a couple months or next month. I feel like we have a meeting here, sorry.
Oh, good.
Just for ratepayers to come in and if they have any questions about their assessment, then we have a couple of assessors here that will answer those questions.
Yeah, that'd be good. If we can get that date, we can get it on our stuff for sure.
And then that's basically the end of the report. I just put a facts and questions here. If the municipality has any questions, it kind of gives you some different contacts.
Yeah.
For instance, with the HATC program, they give you an email and a phone number if anybody has inquiries about that. And then on the next page, this will be an example of the assessment notice that will be sent out in the next month or two.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be nice, well, this is good for us, but be good to, we don't have farm properties, so it'd be nice to have a residential one, for example, but that's good.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's basically the tax base as it looks now in 2027. As you know, with fires and stuff like that, we do remove that off of the tax base, but just driving around the pod, there are some projects that are near completion or completed that I do feel that will be supplementary, so your tax base will grow from that sense.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, just as a note for, I guess we'll be putting this up, but we did get these annual reports sent to us by your department. That's got a bunch of information around market value.
Yeah,
Well, one thing to point out for our community members is that you know, just the single family home sales have had a significant shift, about $40,000 increase in market value. So a home in 2024 in this report was valued at 168,000. And today that home is now, they're saying it's valued at 209 as an average, so
yeah.
9,000, so it's pretty interesting. But we'll send you those reports.
I have always noticed, I haven't done residential for a while, but I have always noticed that the market does seem to stay pretty strong in the fall. I know when Canada Craft wanted to close down, or might not have been called Canada.
Canadian Craft.
Coco.
Yeah, totally.
Coco was there. There was that time the market really kind of, we did notice on sales and stuff, but they rebounded very nicely. So,
Yeah, we're seeing strong assessments. You see sales that are going on. I think it's a little bit of supply and demand. There's been a lot of, you know, we're seeing trailers going for 180,000 when in the past they were probably around the 120s in.
yeah, so I think it's very strong, and as I mentioned, with the DTR project starting up, it'll probably be next winter. That will supply, like, all the properties will get reviewed, so
Yeah.
that'll help the assessment, and like I said, we have a lot of active building permits, and we're constantly checking them to make sure to try to increase that tax base, so.
So,
For taxation purposes, so we're basically a 2-year lag.
Yeah, we're always 2 years behind, and that's just the standard practice across the provinces. We always go up until April 1, or in this case, April 1, 2025. And then when we set our 2029 rates, it will be up till April 1, 2027.
Okay, so if an individual comes in tomorrow and their assessment goes up by whatever figure, their taxes go up, would go up that same year? Or we can't use that information Is it rolled back? How does that work exactly?
Like the historical data?
You know, like, for instance, we've been asking for, like, there's a lot of, as Mayor was saying, there's a lot of properties in town that are under assessed market value is, there's no comparison. And when they come, they talk about, one of the ideas was a special levy, what we're doing there, and they're saying, well, our property is only worth this, would you sell it for that? Well, no, never, sell it for $100,000 more. So for us to retain the tax value of that, and the revenue, can that be done within the same year? So you do an assessment and they can come and appeal it in the fall?
No, we always have to use, it's, we would call that a post-reference sale, so it always has to be. So basically, just kind of give you an example here, if I came here for a border revision and we're disputing a residential property, and my job is to defend that, I can only use sales up until April 1, 2025. Anything else is post-reference and that will be used to be analyzed later date.
What, the question, so just so I'm clear, so I have a property, it gets, I build a big place out in the lake, in the lake lot. It was assessed at $100,000, now it's $400,000. You guys came to town this week, you went out there, you said, okay, that needs to be reassessed because of this is $400,000. Do I have now that my taxation, my annual property tax will not be seeing $400,000 for 2 more years, or would I see it on my next property tax?
If it's if it's just due to market demand and the increase in market value, you won't see it until the next reassessment. But if it is improvements, like let's say you put a new deck on or
Yeah.
addition, you'll see that immediately.
Exactly, so that's where, so if if the guy is, finishes his place up, you're gonna see the assessment impact right away, not part of the cycle.
Yeah, so like, for instance, there's a couple of apartments that are nearing completion in the Paw, and those we'll see as soon as they're occupied, you'll get a supplementary tax for that date, and that's not to say we can't go back. I know there is one here that's owned by Manitoba Housing, and that might have been occupied a month ago. I have to do some checking on that, but then that would be the date that it was occupied, then we'd send the sup in.
So I guess the report, just for our community members, this report that we've got here, this is public information, so it'll get posted.
Yeah.
So once you take it back and sort of,
Yeah, and you guys are able to share that information if you want. We just leave it up to the counselors until we
Yeah.
publish it.
yeah, for sure, no, we'll share it for sure. Any other questions or, no, I appreciate you coming up, any questions?
And yeah, my card's on all the pamphlets I see.
Yeah, we got those here.
So are handed out, so if you guys ever have any questions or if you want to shoot me an email, I'd be more than happy to help you. And
First person that complains about the taxes, can we get some more of these maybe? Hand them up?
Yeah,
I should have brought my coworkers, hey.
yeah, sure.
Not planning that through.
No, that's a bad plan.
So you guys will have to have another one in 2 years and I'll come up and bring a different business card.
Well, no, we'll wait till, maybe when you guys come back in a couple months, we can have those discussions again. So we're still waiting for the municipal board to give us a ruling on that special service levy, which is a bit stressing, but.
Oh, you guys are trying to get another.
Well, we're still waiting for,
Okay.
we're still waiting for the response from the municipal board, that's all.
Yeah, it's slow paced sometimes with them. I know they have a lot of files to handle, but I'm dealing with some properties right now from 2023 still, so.
Oh, okay. Any other comments, questions? Everybody's good? Everybody's good? Okay, well, thank you very much. Thanks
Awesome.
everybody for joining us tonight and call the motion to adjourn. Good.
Perfect. Hey, have a good evening, everyone.
You wanna shut this off?